Hi, it's Sandy from Senior Slim Down with Sandy. Now I'm going to talk about 5 things that it's helpful to know about starting your weight loss journey with Zepbound. I want to be sure to say that I'm not a doctor, I'm not a nurse, I'm not a counselor, I'm not any sort of medical professional. I'm just a 67-year-old woman on a weight loss journey. The first thing you need to know is just take the injection. Pick your day, pick your time, and try to stick with that the best you can. I take my injection on Monday because I figured at the beginning if I had any side effects, I'd want them to start at the beginning of the week as opposed to right at the beginning of the weekend. And I think the more times that you've done it, the easier it's going to be. At least that was my experience. The second thing I want to say is pay attention to your hydration. Now, I try to drink 64 ounces of water a day, and it's pretty hard, I have to admit. The reason you want to pay attention to your hydration, though, isn't because the water flushes the fat out of your body, which is something I had thought for a long time. It actually doesn't, apparently. But because it helps with things like constipation, if you get nausea, or if in fact you have stomach upset and you vomit because of the Zepbound, which doesn't happen a lot, but it does happen. You just want to make sure you're staying hydrated. The third thing I want to suggest is just because you've gone on a weight loss program with Zepbound, don't go overboard with fiber. You hear that a lot. One of the big concerns people talk about all the time is they're worried about getting constipated. And so, you would think, well, it seems like I need to eat more fiber. They always say you need to eat more fiber. But if you're not used to eating fiber, it can really have some bad effects. I mean, you can get a lot of bloating, you can get a lot of gas. Fiber is one of those things that if you don't eat a lot of fiber, you need to sort of introduce it to your system slowly. And the fourth thing I wanted to mention is that rather than just thinking about calories, you need to think about nutrition too. And weight loss journey aside, this is something that I'm very big on, is about trying to eat nutritious food, trying to cook, eating real meals. And I know that there's a lot of protein bars and protein shakes, and people talk about using those while they're trying to lose weight. And sometimes those are great if you are in a rush, or you're just having a busy day and you really need to eat something. And again, that's kind of an important thing when you're on these GLP-1s. If you're not feeling hungry, sometimes you're going to have to make yourself eat. But there is a limit to how many protein bars you can eat. Personally, I would rather eat a baked chicken breast and some steamed broccoli than a protein bar. And I think my body is going to respond better to that. Again, if you're starting a weight loss journey, you just cannot change everything at once. And that's another just sort of aside to all of this. Again, moderation in all things, take your shot and try to see where you can make some improvements in your overall diet or exercise program or something like that. If you just try to make these radical changes all at once, you're going to get tired, you're going to get frustrated, and maybe you're even going to give up. So, the last point I want to make is if you're having what you might call side effects, is don't blame every symptom on the Zepbound itself. And this kind of goes with what I just said. So let's say you're eating a lot of protein bars. Well, the protein bars tend to have sugar substitutes in them, and they can really cause diarrhea and other stomach upsets. I know that I am super sensitive to artificial sweeteners, and it's very, very difficult to find one of these high protein bars that's not using an artificial sweetener. If you're having constipation, it may be because you're not drinking enough water. If you're having nausea, maybe that's because you're not eating enough food. I don't want anyone to discount any symptoms they're having. And again, I would encourage you, if you're not feeling good, call your doctor and tell them what's going on with you so that they can help you figure it out. But sometimes I think you see a lot of people say, the Zepbound did this, the Zepbound did that. And there are other factors that are contributing to this. Everything is connected. So if you're not feeling good, if you think you're having symptoms from the Zepbound, you might try tracking your food. So not just for the calories, but to see if your stomach gets upset, have you eaten a certain food? You might try tracking your water and see if on days that you drink 64 ounces of water, if your constipation is better. You need to take a look at it from a holistic point of view. I have other videos about other aspects of using Zepbound and GLP-1s, and I do a weekly update of how my own weight loss journey is going. So best wishes to you on your journey or just life in general. So see you later.